Hello everybody. Today I'm going to walk you through my 9 favorite neighborhoods in Seattle, Washington. Starting off with number 9, downtown Seattle and the famous Pike Place Market. I almost didn't include this on the list, not because it isn't fabulous, but I almost didn't include it because everyone comes here when they visit and they tend to leave out the other amazing neighborhoods. Nonetheless, I decided to include it because, well, it's pretty fabulous. So one of the things you might not know is, yes, this is super touristy. However, a lot of locals that live downtown actually frequent this market. Besides coming here for the famous fish throwing, peruse the stalls in the market and check out all the wonderful, fabulous produce, flowers, products, etc. These are all sourced by local purveyors all over Western Washington, and the prices are actually quite reasonable. Tip is, come during the off hours, come early morning when they first open on the weekends, or stop by on the weekday. After Pike Place Market, you could head over to 5th Avenue, seen here. This is the monorail line. The monorail line takes you from Nordstrom downtown, which, by the way, is the original Nordstrom. Nordstrom was founded in Seattle. So you could browse the original Nordstrom, hop on the monorail line for a fun trip down to the Space Needle, obviously the other famous tourist attraction when you come to Seattle, Washington. After you're done touring around Seattle, one of my favorite things to do is head over to a rooftop bar. These are open year-round. This is the Fog Room. It's my favorite in the city. And then right down the street from here, you also have the Nest, which has panoramic views of the Sound. At nighttime, one of the things that I like to do is walk around 4th Avenue and see all the trees lit up. And lastly, for downtown Seattle, head over to Alaskan Way. This scene here is the pier where they filmed Real World Seattle. While their residence no longer exists, you could still walk out to the end of the pier and get your picture taken in front of the pier and say you had your picture taken where the Real World Seattle was filmed. I like just walking along the waterfront. It's pretty quiet over here, and also making a stop at the Edgewater Hotel for drinks. Coming in at number 8 is West Seattle. West Seattle is a hidden gem. A lot of people don't know this neighborhood exists, and some people even think it's a separate city. It's not. It's actually a neighborhood of Seattle. You access it via bridge, which is currently down. It's under construction, or via water taxi. Water taxi is actually pretty fun. You have views of the city and the Sound as you're coming across the water. And then there's restaurants where you could look out along the city skyline, or you could take a walk along Alki Trail and head over to Alki Beach. Alki Beach is basically the beach neighborhood for the city of Seattle. Number 7 is Queen Anne. The vista scene here was the inspiration for the logo for the TV show Frasier. From this vantage point, you could see obviously the Space Needle, downtown Seattle, Mount Rainier, as well as the Puget Sound. Queen Anne is divided into 2 neighborhoods. Upper Queen Anne seen here. This is actually my favorite coffee chain in Seattle called Storyville Coffee. There's tons of restaurants and bars. This scene here is Lower Queen Anne. Lower Queen Anne is at the bottom of the very steep hill where Upper Queen Anne is located. You have views of the Space Needle, and you have close proximity to the downtown core. Number 6, Pioneer Square. Pioneer Square is actually the oldest neighborhood of Seattle, and it was built on top of the old city of Seattle, which was destroyed by a fire. Seen here is Occidental Avenue, where you have these beautiful canopied trees, brick buildings, wonderful restaurants and shops. London Plain seen here is my favorite. But if you come to Pioneer Square, if you come to Seattle, you have to take the underground tour. The underground tour is where you could go below ground and tour the old hotel, bar, residences, and see what the old city of Seattle looked like. So highly recommend it. Number 5, Ballard. Ballard is actually divided into 2 neighborhoods, Upper and Lower. Seen here is Upper. This is a very nondescript area of town. It's a regular residential street, and then along it they have a couple blocks where there's these small brick buildings, and they have cute, quaint little restaurants and shops. It reminds me of the Lower East Side of Manhattan. And then the lower part of Ballard is like an old town, tons of restaurants and shops. Number 4 is actually not really necessarily a neighborhood, but a spot. This is Westward. This is on South Lake Union, and it's right on the border of Wallingford and Fremont. Wallingford and Fremont have their old downtown core areas. They're really neat to check out, but this spot in particular is my favorite. You could come out here, sit in an Adirondack chair, Look out at the lake, watch the seaplanes taking off and landing. You see all the yachts parked out front. You see kayakers and paddleboarders going by, and you can just sit in your Adirondack chair eating amazing oysters, drinking an Aperol Spritz, and watching the world go by. So if you come to Seattle, check out Westward. Number 3 is Green Lake. This is actually my favorite spot in Green Lake, called Retreat. And then the center of Green Lake is obviously the lake. Green Lake is Seattle's equivalent to New York Central Park. If you come to Seattle, at the very least, take a walk around the lake. It is so beautiful, especially at fall. And right down the street from here is a rooftop Starbucks. Outside of London, I've never seen a rooftop Starbucks, so definitely worth a check out too. Number 2, South Lake Union. This is almost tied for my first favorite neighborhood. South Lake Union has rated it as the most transformative neighborhood in the U.S. over the course of the last 10 years. This neighborhood used to be nothing but parking lots. It's now the home of Amazon. Seen here is the Amazon Spheres. If you come to South Lake Union, you need to go to the Amazon Spheres. They take reservations open to the public 1 Saturday a month. Book in advance. Another favorite in South Lake Union is Princi. Princi is a joint venture with Starbucks. It started in Europe. It has a completely different menu from Starbucks. They have alcohol, pizzas, pastas, salads, really great pastries. You could sit out by the fire pit overlooking downtown. A definite must visit. South Lake Union is also a great spot to watch the seaplanes taking off and landing. And then right along the lake, you have the new massive Google headquarters. So you have Google and Amazon that just dominate this neighborhood. And coming in at number 1, my ultimate favorite neighborhood, Capitol Hill, simply referred to as Cap Hill by the locals. Capitol Hill is super, super accessible from the downtown. If you're visiting, you don't need a car. If you're in the Pike and Pine shopping corridor, just look straight up at the top of the hill. That's the entrance to Capitol Hill. Capitol Hill is a artist enclave. It's a super popular neighborhood. A lot of people want to move here. Tons of amazing restaurants like seen here. This is Spinaci. But all kinds of cute little restaurants, art galleries, coffee shops, vibrant nightlife, just tons of diversity here. This is also the center of the LGBTQ community. And one of my favorite things about Capitol Hill is there is a hidden alleyway called Chop House Row. Chop House Row, I randomly stumbled upon it when I first moved to the city. I love coming here, especially in the warmer months, because they have cafe tables that are sitting outside of these 2 restaurants that they have. They have a couple stores. They have a wine bar, a bicycle shop. So you could just kind of hunker down in this little alleyway, sit outside, enjoy the nice warm summer breeze, and just kind of watch the world go by. Oh, and by the way, this bicycle shop has a coffee shop inside. One of the things that's amazing about Seattle is everywhere you go, there's really cool coffee shops. So, hope you enjoyed this episode. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button. I'm going to be doing a lot more videos in the Seattle series. Next week, I'm doing a video on my favorite coffee shops in Seattle. Seen here is going to be included in the episode. This is the Starbucks Reserve Roastery. This is the original Starbucks Reserve Roastery at the top of Cap Hill. Super great place to visit if you're visiting. I also just like visiting here even as a local. So don't forget to hit the subscribe button, and I will see you guys on the next video. Thanks for watching.